If you've been prioritizing building muscle for a while and you want to maintain all of that muscle mass as you cut down to get leaner for summer, I've been through those successful lean bulk and cutting phases myself. I helped a number of clients go through this, and the most common mistake that I see with everyone that I speak to with these phases is, as you transition into a cutting phase, dropping your calories too low. Now, if you go from eating a good amount of food to eating like a rabbit, the problem is your gym performance is going to suck. And if our weights suddenly start going down on a cut, that is when you're at most at risk of losing muscle. In this video, I'm going to be breaking down some game-changing tips, so stick around till later in the video, because I'm going to be breaking down some tips that really help me to maintain most of my muscle mass on my last cut. We've all been there trying to chase that scale weight drop, rapidly losing weight and trying to rush the process of losing fat. The problem with this is that the gym performance is going to be terrible, and we need to be maintaining the weights lifted in the gym to keep our muscle on the cut. So what you can think of is, if you're in a calorie deficit, which is needed to lose body fat, and your body weight is gradually coming down, if you're maintaining your strength on your gym, training hard and maintaining the lifts, even if the weights plateau and stay the same, if your body weight's coming down, your actual overall relative strength is going up. Now that is a good signal to your body that you essentially need to maintain your muscle mass to keep those weights up in the gym. So if we have to maintain the weights in the gym to keep our muscle on the cut, the most important thing you can think about is actually managing your recovery. And that is just doing the basics over time, which I'll always bang on about in every video because it makes a massive difference. So sleeping properly, getting good quality sleep, getting enough protein in at 1 gram per pound of your body weight, and having enough carbs timed around the gym, and making the most of the food that you have available in order to keep that training performance up. There's only so much you can do when you are in a cutting phase and the calories are lower, but that is why it's super important to manage that recovery better to maintain your lifting performance. We need a calorie deficit to lose body fat, which means burning more calories than we are consuming. How do you know where to start with this? What you do is you go online, find a calorie calculator estimate, put in your details, that spits out a number for total daily energy expenditure, TDE. This is your maintenance calories. If this is your maintenance calories, you need to be eating below that in order to lose body fat. What you can then do from here is track your body weight for a couple of weeks. Do daily weigh-ins first thing in the morning so that you got the most accurate readings. Take the average over a couple of weeks. If your body weight is coming down, that means you are in a calorie deficit. Congratulations. No need to do anything drastic and drop the calories even further. But if your body weight's not coming down after a couple of weeks of using that calorie estimate, that means you're probably more at maintenance and you need to drop the calories a bit further or increase your activity levels and go again. So that is the starting point of your fat loss phase. If you're starting a cut and your weights are suddenly dropping off a cliff and going down, something's wrong. Something's wrong, mate. You should not be losing all of your strength at the start of a cut. It should be a gradual process where only in the last few weeks, when you're getting a lot leaner, are potentially your lifts going down a bit. So you got to go in with the intensity in the gym, train as hard as you did before on your bulking phase to maintain that muscle mass on the cut. When you see that body weight coming down and you know you're in a deficit and you see some visual changes in shape over the first few weeks, maybe in a cut, it is tempting to just drop your calories further and chase that kind of instant gratification of seeing those changes in shape in the mirror. But if you do this, you could rush the process. And I'll always use this analogy of, like, in day-to-day life, if you rush stuff, it's usually not ideal, right? It usually doesn't end well. If you rush the dating process, you end up in a relationship with someone who's a bit of a knob. Probably not the greatest decision, probably not what you want. If you rush the process of trying to lose body fat and rush your cut, you're probably going to risk losing muscle. And if you rush, the process of trying to do too much work, you burn out and you can't recover. So in all areas of life, taking a more slow and steady approach, staying consistent over a longer period of time, usually is the better approach. Now, if you are going into a mini cut phase where you only have a few weeks before a holiday, or you're doing it for the purpose of just toning up a little bit, getting a little bit leaner to then prolong a bulk, that's a different story. So you can do a shorter mini cut. This is usually during a longer bulking phase though, just to strip off a little bit of unwanted body fat. In general, the most successful cuts I've done are the ones that are not rushed, and I've taken a little bit more time to do them just to maintain that gym performance. And as a result, I got really good results and saw massive changes in shape. The game-changing tip for me that I mentioned at the start of the video and I promised you is actually reducing the volume you are doing in the gym. And this is because in order to build new muscle mass, we need a certain number of sets, volume, in order to stimulate muscle growth, and the number of sets that you require to build more muscle rather than just maintaining what you already have is a lot higher. So the number of sets that we require to maintain the muscle mass we already have is so much lower. It could be up to 1/9 of what you needed before. So if you're someone that's watching this doing 3 or 4 working sets on every exercise, and you find that as you transition into a cut, you're knackered, you're tired a lot more, and that therefore you're struggling to actually maintain the lifts and you have to decrease the weight a bit on those 4 sets, you're actually much better off reducing the number of sets down to 1 or 2 working sets. And I've done this myself and put it into practice and got results, so I know it works. I've used this tactic with clients as well. If you go down to 1 or 2 hard sets close to failure and you maintain the actual weight you're lifting, whether it be dumbbells, barbells, whatever, that is a much better approach than trying to maintain the same volume when food was higher, when your recovery was better in a bulking phase. What I'll do on my bulk is push the number of sets up gradually when I know that I can recover and I'm still applying progressive overload, which means more reps or weight over time. The process of building muscle is pushing those weights up. I'll do that with maybe a few more sets on my lean bulk when the calories are a bit higher and I know I can recover. Push that up as far as I can, push those lifts up. As I then transition into a cut, I will deliberately bring down my volume, reduce the number of sets I'm doing, push as close to failure as I was before, not leaving more than 1 to 2 reps in the tank on a working set. And then as long as I know, right, my dumbbell press is 40 kilos, is it still close to 40 kilos for the same number of reps at the end of a cut as it was at the start of the cut? Even if that's 1 set and at the start of the cut you were doing 2 or 3 working sets, you're probably still going to maintain your muscle mass, and this was a game changer for me in terms of getting results. So I really hope you found these tips useful for not rushing the fat loss process, and you will see better results putting these tips into practice on your next cut. If you found this useful, hit like. If you're new to the channel, subscribe for more. I'll see you on the next video.